Hello, group. Good morning. I came in because even though I wrote a post about contrast, I wanted to talk about contrast because I returned from this trip, which some of you may know that I went on, but I went to St. Lucia and came back with like a lot of contrast in my life. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about it and give you some tips on how to handle the contrast and really what it means so that there's not a lot of anxiety about the contrast in your life. First of all, I just want to talk about when you have contrast, then that's, the difference between the highs and lows in your life. And a lot of times we just treat that like a roller coaster of going with the flow and everything else. And not to say that that's not a bad way to handle it, but it really can, like, when you're going down, it can take you quite far down if you're not recognizing that it exists for a reason and that it is going to be there on some level. And so to almost not expect it, but to just recognize that it comes as it comes. So some of the contrast that I was dealing with was just being on this like total high and then coming back and it was like, oh my God, I have so much to do when I got back, right? So instead of it being just all play, then no, there was a whole bunch of do. And I could have really kind of gone, I tipped sometimes, a little bit where it was like, oh, am I going down on this and falling into like a little bit of a hole with it? Or am I going to go ahead and work with it, right? And kind of follow my plan that gets me out of those areas of contrast, so that I cannot not be of them, right? But instead just kind of be, or not be in them, but be of them. So just be with them. One of the other things of contrast is that usually I do these things at night and I'm suddenly like falling asleep and not waking back up even with an alarm, but I'm waking up super early. So I figured, oh, okay, well, instead of trying to force this to happen at night, let's go with the contrast of it. Maybe these people are needing a daytime thing from now on, or at least for a while. So we are going to work with this contrast instead of try to force the contrast to fit into what I thought my plan was. So if you are dealing with contrast, the first thing to recognize is that it's a blessing. When you are on a high and all of a sudden you get swept into a low, the blessing really is there to show you, like this is where you were and this is what possibility there is for you. And so to actually like see the difference between where you were and what the possibility is so that you can decide whether or not you want to revert back or whether or not you want to keep moving forward. And then you kind of take the contrast with you. So you're like in the middle of the contrast and you're just working it up. Your job in the middle of that contrast is really to do your best to stay neutral, because whatever high you experience energetically, you have to realize that there's going to be a direct opposite low that you might experience as well. And so if you throw yourself into that high energy, then there's a good chance you're going to get thrown into a low one. And the deal is to really try to stay steady, whether between the high or the low of the contrast that you experience. And how do we do that? Like, what is it that we need to do in order to make sure that we remain neutral in that space? Well, the first thing is to be disciplined. So to come up with a plan of discipline or an emergency plan or to kind of brainstorm what you need as far as discipline goes to make sure that you can self-regulate. And then you take that discipline plan and you put it into practice. And you kind of design a practice or a ritual around it, again, to make sure that you can regulate the neutral area between the contrast. Once you get to that point where you can kind of regulate that and recognize the contrast, then you get the opportunity to really observe it and go, okay, well, this is the area of possibility, and then this is the area where I was. And then from there, you get to create what you want to do and how you want to get to the possibility, or what you want to create to stay where you are. But it really is just making sure that you have that discipline plan and that you put it into practice so that you can observe the difference of the contrast. And from there, you get to create the world that you want. Excuse me. I feel like I have to burp, but I don't want to burp on camera anyway. And it's like not coming anyway. So sorry. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys in on that. And, you know, give you some pointers as to whether or not you're experiencing contrast in your life, because I don't want it to be something that you let the contrast go, oh, you know what, I experienced all this possibility and, well, F it. You know, I'm here, nothing's going to change anyway, no one else is going to change, I'm not sure what to do, or I can't handle it. Like, that contrast is there to really show you where you came from, where the fault lines are, and then show you what the possibility is. And you're the one that gets to do something with it if you want. So I encourage you to dream big and really use that contrast to move yourself through, to flow into something new for you. All right, I will see you guys later. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.